On today's episode, getting school advice from a dropout, looking for love in a retirement community, and the joys of being a crazy cats lady. All that and more on today's episode of Bad Advice with Lori Beth Denberg.
Help me out, almighty Lori Beth Denberg. Give me the vital information so I get the right thoughts to do, yeah. The church of Lori Beth is in session and we're reading from the scriptures of vital information. Talking my goddess and my savior, my LPT. Just tell me what's going on with me. Oh my goddess and my savior, my LPT. Just tell me what's going on with me. The Lori Beth Denberg.
Hello, I'm Lori Beth Denberg, and welcome to the Bad Advice podcast.
Woo.
With me, as always, is Clark Crozer.
Hello.
Hello, Clark.
How are you?
I'm doing much better, and so are you. And we know why.
Yes.
Because we have a big thank you to the Bad Advice community.
That's right.
Who heard our pleas on our last episode about the mystery question.
We were going insane. Oh my God. We kept going over and over and over it. I cannot tell you how many times I went through every single question we've ever answered, and I just could not find it.
But we knew we had answered it.
We knew it.
So we put the call out to you, dear listeners, and you responded beautifully.
Again, this was for a question from our good friend, Buck Melanoma Molly Russell's wart.
Yes.
And
even she didn't remember us answering it.
Literally.
But now I know for sure she has not listened to every episode.
It's exactly
so
right.
So get on board, Wart.
You just got called out, Buck Melanoma Molly Russell's wart.
Wait. Did I throw shade?
Yeah, I think a little.
Did I do that?
That was nice. That was well done.
I am so part of society right now. But we had several, a bunch of responses through Facebook, Instagram, saying you definitely answered this question.
Yeah.
And then I did, though, because I was like, where's your proof? Oh, I told Clark, this person responded that we definitely answered that question. And he said, where's the proof?
Yeah, I wanted to see it. There had to be a number. There had to be an episode number to give us.
And we found it because I listened backwards through the episodes, one by one.
Oh. And
didn't have to go that far because in all honesty, everybody, I skip 30.
Right.
I didn't listen. Like, if it wasn't the question, I didn't sit and listen to the answer.
You weren't
and just be like
16 hours deep into the investigation.
Like, I just can't get enough of my voice. But I found it, episode 27. It was the final question.
Yep.
And for whatever reason, we had a different question in there.
Yeah.
Another question that we have answered on another episode.
Exactly. And I had that question in the script for the other episode, too. So that's, I don't know, something must have happened.
When I found it, I just called Clark and he answers the phone and I just go, episode 27, final answer. No final question.
Final question.
Is that your final answer? I don't know. Can you help me find out? And you guys did.
Yes.
So thank you very much to everyone who participated in helping us not rip our hair out. And also, I talked last week about, we were talking about conventions and Comic-Cons and stuff.
Yeah.
About the real estate convention that we go to every year. And I mentioned Chew Baby.
Yay!
And
Chew Baby.
I did put a picture up.
Okay, good.
And got a lot of love for it on Instagram, including grab your socks and your hat, Clark.
Okay.
Chew Baby's mom.
What?
Wrote to me.
No.
She responded to the picture, or she commented on the picture, whatever the word is used on Instagram.
Sure.
And she said, that's my daughter. And her hashtag, not hashtag. Damn, I'm old. Her Instagram name is @TheRealCuteBaka.
Okay.
On Instagram.
Is that hers or is that the daughter?
It's all pictures of the daughter.
Oh, okay, good.
And so friggin' Chew Baby's mom.
How amazing is that?
She said, like, it was so nice of you to take the picture. And I wrote back, like, it was nice of you to let me.
Well, now, let me try and remember this correctly, because I feel like I remember when you first met Chew Baby, you were you were at an autographed portion of a convention. This person, Chew Baby's mom, must have been a fan, right? If she was in line to get your autograph.
Oh, I never thought about it that way.
She must have been a fan. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been in the line.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny? I didn't think about it. I was like, they must have just been walking by.
This must have been like an incredibly surreal moment for her mom.
I guess so, if this is true.
Randomly, a celebrity just posted a picture of her and my daughter from 5 years ago.
Yeah. Interesting.
Right?
I hadn't thought about that. Mrs. Chew Baby?
Yeah.
Mrs. The Real Cute Baka?
Yes.
If you are a fan, I appreciate you. And you, popped out the cutest little Chewbacca in the world.
Oh my God, so cute.
Yeah, so
Ridiculous.
That was cool. And you know what, though? I get a lot of support, and the show gets a lot of support, we do, from groups on Facebook and on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a couple that are just like really awesome. On Facebook, there's one called 90s Kids Only.
Okay.
And there's another one called 90s Nickelodeon Gang.
Oh, okay.
And so people will, that are friends of mine on Facebook will tag me in different posts.
Oh, nice.
So I go and see. We talked about one. There was something going on where somebody tagged me in the post, and it was this whole thread about everyone saying how great I am and one person not liking me. Okay. And like making a fat joke. I think we might have talked about it in our body image episode.
Yeah.
And that I was like, thank you so much. And, at blah, 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 real classy. So I get to see these, these posts from different 90s. And these are two, the 90s Kids Only and the 90s Nickelodeon Gang are just like great, awesome groups.
Yeah, and it's fans from around the world.
From around the world. And they all have that thing, which is great, where like right up top, it's like, basically, I mean, they say it nicely, like, this is a place for, fun nostalgia. If you are this or that or racist or basically they're like, if you're a dick asshole, you're getting kicked out.
Right.
And I'm like, I really like that. It's a safe space, some of them say, for this. And then there's a couple on Instagram that are awesome too.
Okay.
That one is 90s Kids 90s.
Okay.
With a Z. The word kids ends with a Z.
Sure, like you have to in 90s literature.
No, I guess so.
Yeah.
That's one of those 90s
Yeah,
things.
exactly. And it's very extreme to spell with a Z.
And because the next one is also 90s throwback, and the 90s is spelled with a Z. 90Z.
See?
Which sounds like a new Mercedes or something.
It does.
But so I just basically want to thank everybody for their support and, all the lovely things you say and all the yumminess throughout the years, but especially the people who confirmed that Clark and I were not crazy. Because I was not wanting to go back through every episode. That was where I was a couple weeks ago. And I'm like, we answered this question. Clark's like, I know we did. And I'm like, I'm just going to have to go back and listen to them
on episode
all.
1. Yeah, exactly.
And then before I did that, I was like, I don't want to, so, let's put it out to our listeners first. Yeah. So you gave me hope that if I listened, it would work. And it did.
And it did.
Episode 27, final question.
Totally worked. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Yes.
But now that we've appropriately appreciated all of our wonderful fans, let's move on to answering a couple of questions. And before we even get to questions, starting with a little bit of a follow-up, because I know you love follow-ups. Yep, we're getting lots of follow-ups these days, which I love.
I love it.
Yeah, we've had a lot of amazing questions, and it's so fun to kind of go back and find out what happened after the question. So this is from Lauren. And Lauren says, "Hi, Lori Beth and Chad Crozer. Oops, I mean Clark."
Oh, I remember her.
Yeah, in her original email, I think she said she called me Chad Crozer, which is the lead singer of Nickelback.
Yeah, something like, was it Nickelback?
I think it's Nickelback.
Okay.
But anyway, she thought my name was Chad Kroger. So anyway, first off, I wanted to say thank you so much for the advice. You really gave me a lot to think about. And while I haven't completely made up my mind about what I want to do school-wise, I wanted to update you on a new endeavor I've taken on. When you said in your answer that it may help if I had something else to stimulate my brain besides work, that really stuck with me. It may seem small and silly, but a few weeks ago, I started delivering for DoorDash. I wanted something that I could do in my own time to make extra money without taking on the commitment of a second job. Let me tell you, it's done wonders for me.
Oh, nice.
I love driving around whenever I feel like it, and I've already made a good chunk of change that has eased my financial burden a little. I mean, let's face it, life ain't cheap. It's also done wonders for my mental health being out and about more. I've even dragged a friend on some deliveries with me, and we've had a blast. Like I said, I still have some kinks to work out, but I'm on my way. Thank you so much, and I owe you 2 giant hugs for your advice. Hashtag 1 million hugs.
Hashtag 1 million hugs.
Hashtag 1 million hugs. That's from Lauren.
Lauren. So I'm remembering now, Lauren was like, she didn't hate her job, but she didn't want to do it forever.
Yes.
And she didn't know what else to do. She wanted a career.
Yeah, she was sick of having a job. She wanted to really find a career.
And she hadn't gone to college. And so we were like, you don't have to go to college for something.
Yeah.
You can go try. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
And to stimulate her brain. That's awesome.
Right.
Thank you so much for writing back.
Yeah.
And I'm very glad. And it is kind of fun. Like if I was doing DoorDash, which I haven't ruled out.
Okay.
I do love driving.
Sure.
You know, and you could take an unemployed friend with you.
It's true.
That'd be kind of nice.
Right?
But, you know, there's nowhere to park. Circle the block and come back.
If it was you, probably dogs, right? You'd have a dog in your car with you.
I was thinking that, but I'd use a lot of gas because every time I left the car to do a delivery, I'd have to leave it on with the air conditioning.
Well, yeah, but I don't think they always, I mean, when you deliver from DoorDash, you just run up to the door, you put the food on the floor, and you walk away.
Do you run up to the door?
Well, whatever you do.
Or do you dash up to the door?
But this is also the other thing that I was thinking about is the unfortunate progress of hashtag 1 million hugs.
Yes.
Because of the Delta variant and because of the resurgence of COVID.
Yeah, we are back in our little neck of the woods to wearing masks indoors, regardless of vaccination status.
Yeah, even Disneyland went back and they're saying you have to have masks on when you're inside everywhere.
It's very, very frustrating. It's very frustrating. And I mean, I'm doing it, of course.
Yeah.
And when I say it's frustrating, I'm one of the people who thinks it's frustrating that, you know, people that are anti-vaxxing and all of that kind of stuff are still, they're the ones causing the problem.
Yep.
They say, I've heard said, you know, we have a pandemic of the unvaccinated now.
Right.
You know, and it's like me and you and whoever else is lovely and scientific have done what we need to do to get past this. So, you know, this is, I mean, the worst part about this is we're way farther from Dr. Fauci calling me personally to let me know I'm good to go, give 1 million hugs and tour. For anyone who doesn't know, 1 million hugs is my initiative to when it's safe, when Dr. Fauci personally calls me and we meet and possibly gives me a gentle kiss on the forehead. When I've been Fauci-sized, that I will go from city to city, town to town, county to county, set up a booth and give 1 million hugs.
Yes.
Because I miss hugging a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but Delta has come to get us.
Dealt a big blow to the 1 million hugs community. Yeah.
Clark dashed all the way to that pun.
Here's my dad card. Just going to pop that in here. All right. More credits for me.
So, yes, but the proliferation of us staying home and more people having food delivered is helping
Lauren with her DoorDash.
To be
That's a great point.
Yes, a DoorDasheria. Oh, that sounded like door diarrhea. That's not great.
Well.
Lauren, don't do that. The bag's all heavy and like just gross. Okay, anyway.
So anyway, thank you so much for following up, Lauren. And we hope to hear back from everyone that we talk to because we love you guys. But let's move on to an actual question.
Okay.
And this is from somebody called Sean Sykes.
Sean Sykes.
And Sean Sykes says, I'm so worried about my grandchildren going back to school. This whole break, they got 0 summer reading done and, well, didn't get shit done from last year's online school either. Any advice?
I do have friends that are teachers.
Yeah.
And I have friends that have children in school,
That's
such as
true.
Clark.
And Karen's a teacher and has kids in school. She's both.
She's just the most wonderful thing. And then we're like, and now we have questions about clowns. Well, it turns out Karen is a clown. So yeah, there is this complete feeling that last year was just lost.
Yeah.
That nobody learned. And this is from my teacher friends as well.
Yeah.
It was just like, it was a wonk. People didn't take it seriously. When I say people, she said half the class had their camera off, where are the parents in this? And it's like, part of that, there are a lot of people over this last 18 months that suddenly had a real appreciation for teachers.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
The difference between dropping your kid off at school, making it their problem because it's their job.
Right.
And then being upset with the results. Like, why is my kid failing? Well, they don't do their work. They don't do this. And it's like, no, it must be you.
Right.
And then you've got the kid at home going, Jesus, you're the worst kid in the world.
Exactly.
But then you also have parents that, just didn't care.
Yeah.
And you have students there. My friend teaches 4th grade.
Well, I mean, at a certain point, there's nothing to like. You can't. There's no more care left in your body. You've cared enough to get your kids set up and prepped for school, and make sure he's awake, and make sure he's fed and dressed and in school and sitting there and doing it. You can't force him to pay attention.
Yeah,
but you gotta do and it's like the first week that you're doing that, it's kind of rough.
Yeah.
But when you're on your 8th month of it, it's just like you're exhausted. There's nothing left in you.
Yeah. It was very exhausting for everyone involved. Everyone involved. But I will say this, because we didn't give any advice. We just agreed that last year was a fucking terrible nightmare.
Yes.
So let's talk about that.
All right.
What do you need to know anyway?
I mean, that goes into what grade are you in?
Yeah, exactly. It has to do with, there's probably Lex was in
kindergarten.
Yeah.
There's probably 3 grades that you really get a lot of information in.
Yeah.
Everything else is kind of either boosting or just getting you ready for college or, just
It's funny. I'm waiting for you to say 3rd, 7th, and the last half of 10th. Which ones do you mean?
I mean, I'm probably 5th or 6th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when you're really transitioning out of elementary.
Yeah.
Whatever the first year of middle school is I don't know. That to me, that feels like one of the craziest years of school.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's good that it's crazy. Are you pushing through a barrier, or is it just a horrible time in your life and everyone feels horrible at that moment?
Well, I think luckily you are pushing through a barrier and it's a horrible time in your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's elementary school, even 5th, 6th grade looking back, we had more work, but it was in this kind of kid-like atmosphere,
right.
Still art
You're still
projects.
learning the basics.
It was still, you're still learning the basics, except for 2 smart kids that are I do algebra at a class after school.
Exactly.
And I'm like, shut up. 2 2 is something. Don't pressure me. But yeah, you're right. Transitioning to middle school, which could be 6th or 7th grade for different people in different places. It is kind of this push to, okay, now I have the 6 classes, depending on where you are.
Yeah,
you know, our
6
experience.
teachers.
Our experience, Clark and I was, you know, you had the one teacher, 1st grade, Mrs. Plaisance. You heard from her a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
And did I tell you? Oh, I did. I sent you the screenshots. And she said at one point, and Clark had mentioned this to me because there was a sex toy question.
Right. There was a big dildo question.
Yeah. And he's like, do I want to put this in this episode with our 1st grade teacher? Do I want to go right in from a big dick question to
hey, Miss Plaisance?
And so we put it first. We still did it.
Yeah, we did.
You know, COVID or sex toys. Now we've mentioned both in this one episode.
This is going to be a premiere episode.
This is everything you could want and more. But so yeah, we did answer one. But she was saying she messaged me on the Facebooks.
Yeah,
and she was like, "It was so great." I said, "Did you like it?" And she goes, "No, I loved it." And she said at one point, "I kind of forgot. I can't believe the things we talked about. I kind of forgot that people would be listening."
Right.
And then she wrote, "But with everything else that was said in the show, I guess anything goes." Because of course she listened to the whole show.
Of course.
About, you know, so that might have been the one where the girl had the boyfriend with a really big dick. And I think that might have been it.
Yes, I think you're right.
And she was
it
like,
wasn't
how
a
do I
sex toy
handle
question.
this?
It was a literal big dick question.
Yeah. How do I handle this? And I say, with both hands. So anyway, that's what our 1st grade teacher got to hear before her thing. And she commented on that.
Exactly.
But if you're listening, Valerie, we love you.
Yes, absolutely.
And if I was going to say, if you have questions about sex toys, send them in. But maybe don't. I feel uncomfortable even having said that.
But yeah, so you're in elementary and you have that one teacher. You're with that one person every day, 5 days a week after week for months on end. It really does feel strange when you transition into junior high or middle school, whatever you want to call it. And now you have 5, 6 teachers that you're dealing with every day. The odds of getting a shit teacher or an asshole skyrocket.
Yep. And plus you're going from your smaller community to, you know, several elementary schools, multiple that feed into junior high.
That's right.
And so you have all these new kids. It's a bigger campus. How can you find stuff? And obviously we all learn it and it's scary at first. Plus, all of a sudden, you know, I'm bleeding out of my vagina.
Yeah.
Or I have a constant boner.
Exactly.
And, you know, all of that shit going on. Like, this is the perfect time for my acne to really kick in.
So let me ask you.
Yeah.
Was it a good thing or a bad thing that they missed that in 2020? If you missed a year of junior high in 2020, are you worse off or better off?
I think that's very interesting. I almost think it might have been like, right out of that for some kids like that in that transitional period.
But then will it just, would it just push to the next year? Like, is it inevitable?
I think it is inevitable because a lot of the things I just said were scary. All the new kids.
Right.
And the new teachers. And multiple teachers and the new schools. Well, they might have had multiple teachers on Zoom. Like for the junior high stuff.
Yeah.
They probably did, but you know, the bigger campus and the more kids and, you know, that still is going to be all new.
Right.
And there's probably still going to be periods and boners.
Yeah.
Ideally. This year turned like every 14-year-old girl has menopause. Like everything stopped, including, you know.
Biology.
Yeah, exactly. No, they like Benjamin Button the other way. While schoolwork got, you know, smushed back.
Exactly.
Okay, but anyway.
So any advice?
But what I was going to say is like, yes, those are important years.
Right.
Knowledge-wise, but the bummer about Lex, not so much Lex, because he's a good kid.
Yeah.
He's a really good kid.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But is that in the earlier grades, it's the socializing, the socialization that's really important. And so for that, missing that is a big part of the experience.
Yeah.
And learning, it's like some people have brothers and sisters, so they know like, oh, that's not fair, whatever.
Right.
But to have it on a bigger scale with people who don't live like you live, everyone has a different life.
Yeah.
That's really important too. So that will be missing, but hopefully it'll be, again, we'll get back up and starting unless we get shut down again.
Yeah, exactly.
You Delta Force bastards.
So I think going back to Sean Sykes, coming from two kind of delinquents, don't worry about the school stuff.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the knowledge. The knowledge they'll get. The math, the science, the history.
Yeah.
They'll get it, whether it's now or in a year or in 3 years.
Yeah.
The school stuff isn't something you should worry about with your kids.
Well, and especially because, and I know I'm not schoolish,
no,
but most of that stuff is idiot bullshit.
Yeah.
And most of that stuff, there's obviously this line of thinking that I subscribe to where it's all well and good to, memorize dates and stuff, but looking at, the waves of history, say just with history and social movements and like becoming a critical thinker and being able to assess things and have opinions and have all that kind of stuff is really important.
Right. But it also has zero to do with knowing the dates.
Well, precisely. And that's what school primarily focuses on. Although I think things have gotten a little better since I was a dropout.
I would hope so.
But so, yeah, I think Clark is right. I wouldn't worry so much. It really is like the standardized testing for my teacher friends.
Yeah.
It's like they have to do this test and we need to get the scores and this and that. And that's what they haven't, because participation was, it wasn't optional, but kind of optional.
Right.
And so that's a drag. But I will say this about the other part of Sean's question.
Okay.
She said they didn't get a lot of summer reading done.
Oh, right.
That doesn't have anything to do with school being shut down.
No.
So here's my advice. Start a little family book club.
There you go.
Because that is, there is... And of course, I'm coming from, I know parents, but I know teachers.
Sure.
And it is on the parents to be active.
Absolutely.
It's like, why is my kid failing? You're a bad teacher. Like, no, other kids here are doing quite well.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a bad parent and your child is stupid. But, summer reading has nothing to do with that. So it's about sitting down, and it's, go read this book. It's like,
right.
It's like, let's read it together.
Yeah.
Or read this chapter and then we'll talk about it or whatever. That's what I like.
Yeah. And, maybe you can let the kids pick the books. So that, sometimes you can pick the book and it's a cool old classic that you grew up with.
Yes.
And sometimes the kids can pick a book and it's some new, Captain Underpants book that they really like. Either way, it's a win for you. All right. So
Thanks,
hopefully
Sean.
that helps, Sean. Let's move on to question number 3. And this is from Steven. And Steven says, I don't have a partner as I live in an area old people resign to die in. Insofar as everyone is taken or too seedy to even know. I do not have the funds to move and the online dating scene is absolutely not for me. Fool me once, etc., etc. I've been told to wait for love, but I'm completely sure I won't find it here. The only income I receive is through Social Security due to a mental handicap that's kept me from unemployment for the past 14 years. My question, where do I even begin in regards to this? Is it futile to even try? That's Steven.
Oh, Steven.
Yeah.
That sounds awful.
Ugh.
Well, if you for some reason moved into an old folks home.
Well, no, first, before we go on.
Yes.
We have to figure out, this clearly just says Florida to me.
Oh, yes.
Right? He moved into a place where it's either old people or crazy people.
Well,
that screams Florida.
Florida or Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
There's
that's a good point.
There's a toss-up.
Could be Arizona.
Yeah. So, but he's saying I moved into, like, is it an actual old folks home? Or is it just a territory? Is it just a city or location? And again, we get this all the time. People that are in a situation they don't like and they don't have money to move. They don't have money.
Yeah.
You know, this one is just a matter of like, I'm lonely. I don't have money. There's other, bad relationships. I can't break up with him or her because I can't afford to live somewhere. It just really bums me out. And this is coming from someone who lives with their father for free.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, I was making that joke as though I don't have those problems, but I do.
Yeah, totally.
Because I don't have the money to just go wherever I want. I mean, I'm not the second my dad dies. I actually looked up because I was thinking my dad's in poor health and I was, plotting and planning.
Sure.
But no, at some point, and I was just sick of everything.
Yeah.
And I looked up 10 cheapest small towns in America.
Okay.
And one of them, and I spoke to someone from Michigan.
Okay.
And she was like, yeah, it's pretty nice down there. It was a small town in Michigan. But all the rest of them were places that I would hope no one knew I was raised Jewish.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It was just kind of like, this is not fair. And it's not every single person, obviously. But in that town, Black lives don't matter.
Yeah.
And again, that's me. It's like, I should do the research, but the one in Michigan, I was like, it's a possibility. And of course they took a lovely picture of it, like on the water and whatever.
And it's freezing cold there. So it's kind of your dream.
I would be so happy. We're going so far afield. Stephen, we'll get back to you and your crushingly lonely life. But I did go to house sit for my friend Tina again, who has caught in the cat.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. First of all, it's in a part of Los Angeles that's like 20 degrees cooler than it is at my house.
Oh, so nice.
And then they were like, turn down the air conditioning as cold as you want.
Oh.
So I had it cool. I had it at like 68, 69 degrees.
Wow.
And I slept so well.
Nice.
Another thing, Stephen, is that, and Clark.
Yeah.
I just responded to like the first guy on a dating app.
Oh.
Who was like, let's meet for coffee or something.
What?
And I said, that sounds good. What about this day?
No.
And I haven't been checking them a lot. And, so I don't know how long ago he wrote to me or I don't know what. So I was like, okay.
When was this?
Yesterday.
Wow.
Yesterday. And I haven't heard back and maybe I won't and it's fine.
No, but if you took 15 weeks to respond to him, you got to give him 15 weeks to respond to you.
No, I don't know. Like I have checked the app, but I'm not like
constantly.
We had this talk. I'm not paying for it yet. I'm going to have to. But Derek on Bumble, if you're out there. Yeah. So, but now Steven is letting me know he's been fooled once. Shame on him.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, didn't give me a lot of hope here, Steven. But I really, really can relate to this. Like, should I even bother to try?
Yeah.
Because I get stuck in that place a lot.
Yeah.
And I have been stuck in that place recently really badly.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, well, what's the option to just not try?
Yeah.
And that's like, I'm lonely and I'm unfulfilled and I'm whatever.
Yeah.
And not that a boyfriend relationship is going to fix everything.
No.
Although I totally think it will. I totally think it will a lot. But it was like, yeah, why not try?
Yeah.
Because I have had, fool me once, shame on you. I've had those real relationships. I didn't meet them online, but those are, actual relationships I've had. So I'm like, I'll try it.
Absolutely. That's fantastic.
So, Stephen, it's worth it to try.
Yes.
It's worth it to try because what's your, alternative? Does he say if he's gay or straight?
He does not, no.
Well, I mean, there is also the possibility that you're surrounded by super rich widows.
Yay, there you go.
You could Anna Nicole this shit.
You Anna Nicole it, you get a ton of money, then you can move away.
Yes. And that seems like the best idea to not get you under suspicion for murder. I think it is worth it to try.
Keep trying.
It is worth it. You say you settled somewhere too, so it doesn't sound like that's where you're from.
Right.
And and I understand that you have a disability and, all that kind of stuff. So it can be, difficult because I was like, look on one of the reputable sites that are like, room for rent or whatever. Because if you can't afford, your own house or apartment or whatever you've got going on now, there might be a cheaper option that could just get you somewhere else.
Exactly.
So then there might be less rich widows, but maybe you'll just, meet some more
happier.
People. Yeah. Exactly.
Which would be good too.
So try all of those things. But one day.
Yeah.
It'll be Mr. and Mrs. Derek and LB Bumble. You're all invited. Save the date.
Steven, don't do that. All right. Well, let's move on. Steven, I hope that helps. Let us know how the dating scene is when you hear this. We are moving on though. I am very excited. We have not enough time for this at all, but we are going to do a top 10 and a half.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, LB and Clark's top 10 and a half.
We thought about our musical theater days, our drama kid days.
Yes.
So we're doing our top 10 and a half musicals.
Woo! We already played the theme.
Yes.
There was nothing to play there. I don't know what. But time.
Yeah.
We can't take too much time here.
And these are like Broadway musicals.
These are Broadway musicals. These are not like the best musicals of all time. These are just our favorites. We love these musicals. And I know for me, it's not even, I don't know if these are even like my top 5, because my top 5 are constantly changing up around. These are just 5 that I really, really, really like.
Yeah, me too. I was like, I have to think back on all of history. And I'm like, no, what springs to my mind when I think about this?
Exactly.
So, do you want to go first?
Either way, it's fine. I'll go first.
You go first.
So my first one is actually a new Broadway musical.
Okay.
It was just on a past year or two. And I've never seen it. However, it's on, I believe, Hulu. It's on one of the streaming services. You can actually watch the whole Broadway show of SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh.
It is so goddamn fun. It does not deserve to be this fun. Like a musical about SpongeBob SquarePants should not be this goddamn good. It is so well done. The performers that were doing it when they did the original run were just phenomenal. The guy that played Patrick was hilarious. The guy that played SpongeBob was great. Oh, the girl that played Sandy, so great. It was so much fun. If you listen to the music, I tried playing for you a couple of the tracks the other day. There's it wasn't written by one dude. This wasn't Andrew Lloyd Webber. This was 20 pop stars that came in and wrote one song a piece. So there's one by Cyndi Lauper and there's one by, all these different real famous musicians.
It's really cool. I haven't sat down and watched more. I did watch a couple YouTubes or something. Yeah. But it was really good.
It's so fun. And I recommend if you're bored and you have nothing to do, go find it. I think it's on Hulu and watch it. It's awesome. All right. That's my number 1.
Okay. My number 1, which is really number 2 of 10.
Okay.
Here we get into me counting to 10 is Les Miserables.
Oh.
I won't even go into saying Les Miserables. When I was, however old I was when it came out originally, I was 10, 12, 13, whatever. I got the cassette.
Okay.
I got the cassette recording.
Was it a single or a double cassette?
It was a single cassette.
Okay.
And I listened to that constantly.
Yeah.
I was just so taken with it. It was so immersive and it was so rich and big and dramatic.
Yeah.
And I just wore that shit out and knew every word and I was so into it. And I got the original French concept album. I got probably that shirt with Cosette on it. It really solidified. I'd been in theater troupes and stuff already.
Yeah.
But this really, I think, was my first experience with it solidifying the bigger picture of professional theater.
Yeah.
So it was pretty awesome. It still is.
Yeah.
Clark, go to your number 2, which is really 3.
Number 3. All right. I'm going to actually, this is going to be a bit of a cop out for me because I do love this musical a whole hell of a lot. And this musical's name is Hair.
Okay.
I love Hair. But just so that I can be fully honest with everyone, I was in Hair. Like
Yes.
our final production in high school that you were there for almost every performance.
Yes.
Was Hair. And it was such a momentous occasion in my life. And it just changed my view on the world because I would look at things differently. It's one thing to learn about the 60s and to learn about that cultural revolution that was happening.
Yeah.
But then the more you dig into it and the more you find out about what was happening and what people were fighting for and how they were being treated, and it changes your view on the fairy tale that is the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That it kind of gives you a little bit of honesty in there.
Yeah.
And how death is just like such a powerful, momentous thing that can affect you for the rest of your life, and how scary it is to try and be pushed into a war.
Yeah.
And it was just, I don't know, it was personal to me, and there's nothing that will ever make me give me the chills as much as that final song from Hair.
Yeah.
So
Hair.
Hair, my second.
Okay.
Number 3. And what's your second number 4?
My second number 4 is also a play like your first one that you've never actually seen.
Yeah.
You saw it, the video.
I saw the video.
But I have never seen this one, and it's called City of Angels.
Oh.
It is. I love all the music. I know all the songs.
Yeah.
It's contemporary. It's this whole dub, from what I understand.
I think it was 90s, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
And the story's about a writer and him trying to, break into Hollywood, that Hollywood's going to buy his show that he's writing or his book that he's writing. Oh, his book that he's writing to turn into a movie.
Gotcha.
So then half the show is the story of that guy in the world. And then half the show is the story of his book. And I'm not sure, but I think half the show is in black and white and half the show is in color. I could totally be making that up, but there are some really good, fun and funny songs and some dramatic stuff that's like really kind of, there's a song called Funny.
Okay.
That's really dark.
Okay.
It's really, really dark. So I'm saying City of Angels, and I stand by it, even though I have never seen it and might not know any of the details.
All right. I like it. Okay. My number 3.
Yes.
Is... again, this is something that I haven't seen yet because it is brand new and had only been on Broadway for about a year before the pandemic hit. But again, is very, very personal to me.
Mm-hmm.
Beetlejuice.
Oh.
The Beetlejuice musical. When I first listened to it, I played Beetlejuice at Universal Studios.
Yes.
In Beetlejuice's Rockin' Graveyard Review.
Yep.
And
we talked about that last week.
Did we?
Because about how you dressed up as him at the convention.
That's
and then
right.
You couldn't get 2 feet without a picture.
Without moving, yeah. So yeah, I used to play Beetlejuice at Universal Studios, and it was such a fun part, and it was so fun to play. And this new musical, I listened to it the first time, and I'm like, oh, well, they definitely changed from the story of the movie. They added stuff. They changed a lot of things. And I didn't know if I was into it, but I kept listening to it and I kept listening to it. And then I listened to it some more and I started like loving this musical.
Yay!
The music of the musical is so much fun. And they take that character, the Winona Ryder character, instead of just making her with her dad and her stepmom, they make the death of her actual mom the opening of the play.
Oh.
And then the reason why she wants to be with Beetlejuice is she wants Beetlejuice to get her to see her mom again.
Oh.
Like there's a whole nother layer of the Beetlejuice musical that is not in the movie.
Interesting.
And it's really interesting.
I like that.
Yeah. Okay, so that's my number 3. What's your 3?
My number 3, which is really number 6,
yes,
is Jesus Christ Superstar.
Oh, yeah.
Again, another one that I know every single word to. It is Andrew Lloyd Webber.
It is.
But on a good day. And I guess
it's at his most Webberiest.
Well, no, I think that it's like, well, the story was already there.
Exactly, yeah.
And this was a reason that I got excited to go to our high school, which for a long time had a great drama department.
Yeah.
It still might. I mean, it's worse now that I'm not there, obviously, because I was always the lead in every play, right?
Of course.
Never
exactly,
was.
Exactly.
But they did a production of Jesus Christ Superstar when I was in like junior high. That was just really good. I mean, I don't know if I would think it was good now.
Right.
But I think so. Like, it was just really great, and there was talented people in it.
Yeah.
And it just really, really struck me. I think that I got them flowers.
Oh,
I just sent
wow.
flowers to the cast because I'm a
Nice.
super nerd like that.
I always got pasta. You bring me pasta.
Well, I gave like 30 people one bouquet of flowers.
Okay, all right.
So Jesus Christ Superstar,
Okay.
my number 3.
So my number 4 is very unheard of. It was a very short run. Not a lot of people know about it. But it was amazing. I went to New York on my 21st birthday.
Okay.
And I happened to go to tickets on the day they were having the final performance of a show called The Life. And I was like watching going, okay, well, I'll go watch that. It's the last performance. So I went and saw the last performance. The Life was fucking awesome.
Yep.
And it was about a bunch of hookers.
Yep.
And the one guy that's like the main pimp, and how he beats his girlfriend, and he does all this stuff. And the girlfriend is one of the hookers. And then he finds this new little white girl to come and join the, I don't know, cable of hookers, whatever they're called.
It's a murder of hookers, isn't
murder
it?
of hookers. Okay.
Like a murder of crows.
But anyway, it is just so fun, and the music is powerful. And maybe it was just the show that I saw, but the leads were just like blowing the back of my head out of my body. Just like powerful. It was amazing. And I think the little girl, the young white girl that gets brought in was the girl from, I think she was on Scandal. I think she was the president's wife in Scandal.
Interesting.
Yeah, anyway.
I will say this is interesting, and I know we're going to run long because it's already probably 80 minutes in. I saw Life on Broadway, and I think about something. I'm not going to say what it is because it's really dark and depressing.
Yeah.
But I think about it all the time, and I think I thought about it yesterday.
Shut up,
and
really?
Just so you guys know, Clark and I do not know what the other one is going to say.
No, I swear to God, I didn't even know if you were going to know what The Life was.
No, I totally did. Like, I'm legitimately worried. We've done so well so far.
I know.
But that we have, like, the same.
Fifth.
We do know what the last one is going to be, the half. But,
yeah.
Okay, so
you go
The
to your
Life
fifth.
is awesome. I'm pitching out next Fun Home.
Oh, is that the one that's about the funeral home?
Yes, it's based on the comics of Alison Bechdel.
Yes.
Of the Bechdel test.
Yes.
And it was just awesome.
Oh, wow.
It was so amazing. I saw it in New York. I just walked up. I was able to get a ticket.
Wow.
And it was really one of those things where, you know, it challenges the concept of what a musical is. You know, it's not like, oh, it's Showboat, turn up the curtain, and here's the grand thing.
Right.
Here's the singers.
Right.
You know, just a really heart-wrenching story about, you know, a little girl, and she's growing up gay, but she doesn't, you know, it's really great. And the music is really great. And it is very dark, and it is very funny. And look it up. Fun Home.
Wow, that's great. Okay, my last choice, I want you to take a guess here. All right? I'm going to give you a clue.
Oh, okay.
Ready? My clue is it's a musical. It's a fairly new musical.
Okay.
About one of our founding fathers and how, you know, the trials and tribulations he went through. And it's not really, you know, classical Broadway kind of music. It's more like modern kind of music.
Okay.
All right, what's my number 1?
Well, Clark, I think everyone is screaming at their podcast that it's Hamilton.
Yes, and that is incorrect.
What?
Incorrect. My choice is a musical called Bloody Bloody Andrew Jackson. Yeah, it is so great. It's about Andrew Jackson, who is horrible, right?
Yes.
A horrible guy. But Bloody Bloody Andrew Jackson came out maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 years before Hamilton.
Oh.
And it's all like rock. It's rock music. Same way Hamilton used hip hop to tell that story.
Yeah.
They use rock, like metal kind of rock music to tell the Bloody Bloody Andrew Jackson story. And
Wow.
it is fun and goddamn too short. It is one of those musicals where you listen through the whole thing and you're like, damn, I have to play it again. There's not enough. You want to keep listening to it. It is so much fun. And again, I've never seen it. I never, because we live in LA, so not a lot of the smaller musicals come out to us, but I cannot tell you how many times I've listened to Bloody Bloody Andrew Jackson.
Okay, I will be looking that up directly after we finish this.
It's awesome.
Excellent. Okay, here's my last one.
Last one.
And I feel kind of like a kid who goes, the movie I just saw is my favorite movie. This is one of the last shows I was able to see. It's a newest show, but it won the Tony for Best. I almost said Best Picture for Best Musical at the Tonys. It's called Hadestown.
Oh, I have heard of Hadestown.
It is the story of Orpheus and Eurydice, of the Greek godliness, and the other characters are Greek gods as well.
Wow.
Persephone and Hades.
Wow.
And the music is amazing, and the performances were amazing, and it is a punch in the gut.
It's a musical about Greek gods, and it's a punch in the gut? Like it's that close to home?
But it's, again, I didn't say it, but it's very contemporary.
Okay.
It's not, there's nobody that's half goat with a lyre strumming it in a garden.
Right.
It's very contemporary and poses them all as, modern characters. But in this, it's kind of in a middle world. It's not like, Orpheus works at Tower Records.
Right.
So, I would just... look it up. I finally got the original Broadway cast. Before this, I only had the concept album.
Oh, wow.
Which was still amazing. But the even Noble Daza, if you're out there, she was the lead. She played Eurydice on Broadway that I saw, and I just loved her. So very excited to get that recording that included her in that cast.
Okay, now I need to go listen to that. All right, but now this brings us to our half.
Yes.
Do you want to describe what our half is?
The half is an extraordinarily successful show.
Sincerely successful.
It is amazing. The music is awesome. It is inventive.
Yeah.
And it is fucking batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Our half of our 10.5 is Cats.
Thank you.
I love most of the music. All of the music, grew up on it.
Yeah.
Again, another Lloyd Webber.
Yeah.
Coming from, and people thought they were crazy to do it in the first place. A musical about cats. Ma, you've lost your mind. But, and it came back into the zeitgeist when the movie came out.
Right, exactly.
And, and everyone was like, this is ridiculous. And I'm like, it's Cats. What did you expect?
It's supposed to be batshit crazy.
It's Cats. And I listened to one film reviewer show on NPR because I'm a liberal cunt. And the guy's like, it's just awful and ridiculous. And Sir Ian McKellen is drinking out of a bowl. And I'm like, yeah, he knows it's Cats.
Exactly.
Get on board. It's Cats. Actually, when the pandemic first started, I put on my Instagram a picture from the movie.
Oh,
and I go, well, the way things are going now, Cats wasn't such a catastrophe, was it? I didn't say catastrophe. I didn't make a pun. But Clark, have you ever seen Cats?
I've never seen Cats. I saw they did a filmed version of the Broadway show.
Yes.
I have seen that.
I saw it
and then
twice.
I saw the movie.
Yes, I saw the movie.
I've
loved
never seen
every
it
minute of it.
There's just certain stories out there, whether that's Rocky Horror Picture Show, whether that's Showgirls. There are just some stories out there that are appreciated because it's crazy batshit.
Yes.
Right?
If you are a cat hater, if you are a Cats hater, you are projecting and you need to look at yourself.
Yeah, you're not looking for the fun in things because there is fun to be found in horrible shit sometimes. And not that this is horrible.
No.
It's just, okay. I will say, watching it's kind of a weird, pointless story. Like the story doesn't happen.
Cats.
And that's the point.
Anybody who's
really
trying to think about it, It's cats.
Just cats.
And what you don't see is like both of us are going like, well, what did you expect with our hands and shoulders?
Exactly.
It's cats, people.
It is.
But it is our half
of the week.
Yes.
This has been another segment of LB and Clark's Top 10 and a Half.
All right, well, let's move on. Oh, that took not as long as I was fearing.
Good.
So that was pretty good. But let's get to the final question, and it's a bit of a short one.
Okay.
This is from Jack, and Jack says, "Any advice on dealing with imposter syndrome? Been an issue for me over the past all my life."
Wow.
That's it, Jack.
Jack, thank you for your question.
Yeah.
I do know what that's like.
Yeah.
I really know what that's like. And it feels like shit.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, because we've spoken on this show before about, my awful childhood. And then we've spoken about, my wonderful foray into television where everybody loved me.
Right.
Those things overlap.
Right.
Big
time.
I'm being this, cheerful Nickelodeon, vital information, loud librarian. But I'm still carrying everything from my past. And I'm not chipper and I'm not happy. And I'm not, we've talked about how this, I'm thinking back. I'm not saying, overall, I'm not happy.
Right.
Clark, I'm not
a
happy.
happy person.
But, so I absolutely know that feeling of going, nobody knows who I really am.
Yeah.
And if anybody knew me, they wouldn't like me.
Or if I fuck up in the slightest, this is all disappearing in a blink.
Exactly. And I really have to rely on other people. I need to be honest about that, about how I feel and what's going on with other people, because other people are able to see reality.
Right.
And let me know what's what.
Everyone is able to see what's going on with you better than you are because you're too in the weeds for you to see it.
Oh, 100%.
But that's how everyone is. So as well informed as they might be about your life, they turn around and they're still like really disappointed in their own life. So it's like everyone feels that way. It's like it's like a chain link fence.
And when it's very potent though, the imposter syndrome. Do you want, just in case, do you want to
read what the definite? Yeah, I actually pulled up.
He told me
what the definition of imposter syndrome is, just because in case Lori Beth didn't know, what the actual physical definition of it was.
In case it hadn't actually crushed my soul.
So what I pulled is the imposter syndrome is a psychological pattern in which an individual doubts their skills, talents, or accomplishments and has a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud.
Yeah.
That's imposter syndrome.
I feel like, contextually people might have gotten that, but I just remember that Clark said, for the last question, I actually pulled up a definition that I might use. And then, of course, I just thought that would help some people.
Absolutely.
Some people who feel as good on the outside as they do on the inside. And what you were saying before, Clark, about how, other people can reflect reality back to you because they can see it. Yeah. Especially when you've got a real chasm between those two. Yeah. Which is like, we've heard a lot about my life and then, everybody loves me and I'm the best and I'm so funny and all this, the flip side. So it's even a bigger, it's like, I feel like 10% is in front and 90% of me is behind the curtain. Right. 90% of me is hidden backstage in the underground tunnels. Right. And I was going to say, and I work to keep that secret. Meanwhile, I've made progress and I talk about it every week on this podcast. Exactly. I've talked about physical abuse and sexual abuse. And I've talked about a lot of my life. And unfortunately, there's still plenty to relate. Plenty to go. But yeah, that feeling of being a fraud and that feeling of like, I have to keep my real self secret. Yeah. But then what I don't realize or appreciate or accept is that everything I'm doing in front of the curtain is my real life too. Yes. It's
100%.
You know, and I am doing those things and I am accomplishing those things. And it takes someone who knows me well, who knows both sides of the coin, to be able to point out what I'm doing is real.
Yeah.
And that it's not all completely fake.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, this is the analogy I just came up with in my head because I'm me.
Okay.
How I feel is not the same as your really nice neighbor who's always there with a smile, but has 14 murdered women in his basement.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not quite imposter syndrome. I mean, he could, no, actually, he could absolutely feel that way.
He could, yeah,
but
that's possible.
I think that that's a little different than, you know.
I could have killed so much more.
I know.
I just didn't doubt myself.
Exactly.
No, but wait. Let me bring up. I feel like this is a small version of the problem. Like, you were the officiant for our wedding.
Correct.
Before our wedding, you had never officiated a wedding.
Correct.
So, was there a moment in that very first wedding, our wedding, where you were like, "Do I know what I'm doing here? Am I gonna do this, or am I going to be a joke?" Like, there had to have been a moment when you were just starting to think about actually doing it for us, where you were like, "Why am I doing this?"
No, that didn't happen.
No,
but I will give you 2 examples from your wedding. That explain this very thing.
Okay, perfect.
First of all, I kept wondering if this was going to be actually legal or not.
Exactly.
And I still kind of do.
Right.
Because I don't like hardly any of my weddings. You didn't say this in your vows, are like, do you? I do.
Right.
And I'm like, is that the legal part?
Right.
And is it official? Like, I am an official officiant.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oops, I was wrong. Sorry, 30 couples. You're not married. So there was that. But here's what I'll tell you that I've never told you.
Okay.
I was in a relationship with a guy. He was at your wedding.
He was.
It was not a good relationship.
It was not.
He didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And he was narcissistic.
Yeah.
And I thought he wasn't there when the wedding started. He's also always late. And I thought he wasn't there. And I was really sad about that while we were doing the wedding.
But you would never have told us because it was our wedding. And I'm sure you were like, I'm not going to bring this drama up to Clark. That'll upset him.
We were literally, because we were doing, we were sequestered and then we walked down the aisle. Then I'm scanning and then I don't see him.
Oh my God.
And I was like, you know, he's just like, he's not here. And it turned out he was there, but this is what was going on in my background.
Yes.
While I am performing your wedding ceremony.
Yes. Oh my God, that's
getting
heartbreaking.
Cheered up about it, but I can play that off about how emotional I am about your wedding, which I also was.
You were, yeah, absolutely.
I absolutely was.
You were amazing.
But so in that one moment of doing this thing, and then of course everyone's like, "Oh my God, that was so amazing! Thank you." And I'm just thinking like, you know, I wasn't worth him even coming and showing up to watch me. To support me, because I'd never done it before. And meanwhile, this was a guy who performed, and that you went and fucking sat through enough performances to support this dummy. Just so you know, and this could start a war, but he was a jazz guitarist, and I do not like jazz. And I have done my time. I'm very supportive. Yeah. So I just, I can't date another jazz musician. What a horrible story. I never knew that. No, I wouldn't have told you. No, I mean, of course not. It just came up. No. But, wow. Yeah. So it's like, even in that one moment of doing something really momentous. Yes. Not only performing a wedding for the first time, performing your wedding after whatever, 38 years or whatever. And, that's right. We didn't know each other till we were 5. Exactly. And being so into it and, you know, performing, it's still like I was up trying to do it and read it and not fuck up. Yeah. And this is what was going on in my background. Wow. That's
unbelievable.
And that's what goes on a lot for a lot of people for me.
Yeah.
Because I'll be doing all this. It's amazing how much you help people. And I'm not talking about people like how much I help people with this podcast.
Right.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, in my sobriety group and with my friends with whatever mainly. I'm doing, that it's like, well, I'll be there in a second.
Yeah.
I'll be there in a heartbeat.
Yep.
And do more than you need done.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, God, you're so amazing.
Than you think you need done.
Yeah. Or they say to me, like, you're such a good daughter. You take care of your dad. He's so lucky to have you. And I'm like, well, I don't make a lot of money. And, I don't do this or that. It's always this background noise.
Yeah.
That makes me not want to believe. It's like I don't take the time to stop and believe the people that are reflecting what I do back to me.
Right.
And that's, what's his name?
His name is Jack.
Jack. Sorry, Jack. I forgot your name. What's your real name? He's like, my name is Andrew, but I have a double life. I really, really get that feeling of the being a fraud, of if you saw what's behind the curtain, you would never talk to me again, and feeling like I'm keeping up a facade. Mm-hmm. Facade is a French word, meaning false front. That's a line from the Tram Guide, from the Universal Studios Tram Guide.
I said it many times.
I know. I said it many times.
Yes, you
and
did.
I was never a tram guide. I really, really understand that feeling.
Yeah.
And the biggest part of it that I'm not good at and that I'm working towards is trying to accept what is reality.
Right.
And there are things on both sides that are reality.
Right.
That there's negative things or things that I need to improve on or things that I need to overcome.
Yeah.
That I wouldn't go shouting to everyone in the world.
Right.
But it doesn't mean the things I'm doing that people think are wonderful aren't true.
It's true.
And that is not easy. And I know it's not easy because I'm not doing it yet. I'm trying.
Yeah.
But it's hard.
But what I'm getting from you is it's important to ask others their opinions, especially if it's somebody that you trust.
Yes.
If you have a friend, if you have somebody that you trust, a coworker, could be anything.
A family member.
As long as you trust them, you can talk to them about it. Tell them why you're scared. Tell them what you're afraid of. It's not just because you say your fears out loud does not mean they're going to come true.
Yeah.
So that's a really good advice.
All right. I'll throw this out too.
Yeah.
A therapist.
Yeah. That would be even better.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You really want someone objective that you can be honest with.
Exactly.
Who it is illegal for them to share things.
Exactly. But it's also immoral for them to be like, oh, what a wonderful, that was so great. Like, they're going to give you their honest opinion because that's what they're supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
Wow. That's really good. That was a tough one. But, it's hard. This imposter syndrome, I feel like that's.
Good luck, Jack. There is
really
only
hard.
one Jack.
Yes.
I feel like there's two LBs. You feel like there's two Jacks. There's only one of each of us.
Exactly. So take all the good with the bad. You can't just take the bad.
Yep.
All right, but that was it. That was our final question of the day. We did pretty good. Not too bad. But if you guys out there listening to us, if you have a question or a decision that's weighing heavily on you, please send it to us and let LB ease your burden. Send us your problems at AskLoriBeth.com. You can follow us on all of the socials at AskLoriBeth, or you can leave us a message with your voice at 1-855-336-2374. That's 1-855-DENBERG or 1-855-Denberg.
And you can find me at LB Denberg on Instagram, where I got you baby pictures and just awesome responses from you guys. Thank you again for helping Clark and I start to regrow our hair instead of trying to rip it more out. At Lori Beth Denberg on Twitter and the Lori Beth Denberg fan page on Facebook. GalaxyCon. GalaxyCon.com.
Yeah.
Nickelodeon panel Q&A, personal private chats, autographs, August 8th.
Yes.
Not August 4th. August 8th at 4 p.m. Eastern.
Yes.
And if you'd like to book me for a personalized video for a friend or loved one,
Cameo?
Oh, yeah. You can book me for that at cameo.com/LoriBeth.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Goodbye, Bubbas.
Bad Advice stars Lori Beth Denberg and Clark Crozer. The show is produced by me, Jeremy Balon, and part of the Seltzer Kings network. Our theme song is written and performed by Natty Ward. If you or someone you love is in need of some bad advice, you can submit your own question on our socials, all of which are Ask Lori Beth, or on our website at askloribeth.com, or for a nostalgic twist, you can call 1-855-DENBERG. That's right, 1-855-336-2374, and leave your question there. Thanks for listening.